Hi guys, and this is A Soul Full of Books. I'm Kat.
And I'm Cody.
And we are doing the Make Up Book tag. We were tagged by,
No, she was tagged.
I was tagged by Bibliofeline. That is Colleen and Alex. And, well, it's Colleen's channel, but her husband Alex does it with her. And Cody's going to join me for this one.
Yeah, I am. Because I like books.
Yeah, we were just out gardening, so... Like, if we look disheveled or anything, or we're tired or scatterbrained.
I don't have a list in front of me. I know everything off memory.
That's the reason. Alright, we'll get to the first question. So the first one is Primer, and that is a book that made a lasting impression. So you want to go first?
Yes. My lasting impression would have to be the Lord of the Rings series. It is the first epic fantasy series I'd ever read when I was like 10 or 11. And it basically paved the way for any future fantasy novel that I read.
And then the book for me that made a lasting impression, I'll put it somewhere over here, was Fever, 1793. And the author was Laurie Halse Anderson. I read this book in school when we were in elementary school as a project to learn about yellow fever, and it terrified me, but it was still like, I've read it 5 times since then, and I actually want to get a copy for me and for like our kids.
I don't know how to terrify our children about yellow fever.
You need to read it to understand.
No.
It follows a girl who works in a bakery with her mom during an outbreak in, I believe it's somewhere in Europe. I can't remember the city. But she works with her mom in a bakery, and there's a yellow fever outbreak in that town, and no one's ever seen anything like it. And it's just basically following this young girl through a plague and all of the things that happened to her. And the character was just so relatable, and it made me like fall in love with her and understand like the terrifying situation those people must have been in. So that was my book that made like a super lasting impression. So the next one is Foundation, and that is favorite first book in a series.
My favorite first book in the series would have to be A Long Way Down to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. It's a really good sci-fi novel. There's not a lot of adventure in it. It follows a crew and they're on a job, but it has a very colorful cast of characters, and the book is extremely good. I highly recommend it to anyone that is a fan of Mass Effect, because there's inner species in the ship.
Alright, and then mine is Rot and Ruin by Jonathan Mayberry. This is my favorite first book in the series. I've actually read only 4 of the books, just because I don't know, I feel like the series kind of petered out and it could have just been one book. But this basically follows a boy, Benny Imara, and living in a colony after like a zombie apocalypse broke out like 15 years before, and kind of how their colony functions. But then something happens and he has to go out into the rot and ruin as an apprentice with his brother, and that's where like all the zombies are and stuff. And I'm not explaining it correctly, but it's a really good book, and like always, every book we talk about will be in the description below if you want to check it out. Also, the cover's really cool because it's like the normal eye and then like the zombie eye.
That cover's gross.
I love this cover.
It looks like grossness.
It freaks him out.
Yeah, it's gross.
Okay, this one I can't wait to get to. It's Concealer.
You need to calm down.
It's Concealer, and it's pick a favorite character that you would just get rid of, and that is Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter.
She cannot hear you.
I know she can't hear me, but that woman needs to understand my severe hatred of her. I cried when Harry had to sit there and just write, what did he have to write?
I will not tell lies.
I will not tell lies, and it just like, oh Oh my gosh. I actually had this question asked to me like on a Facebook group I'm in about books.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what character would you get rid of? And I was just like, Dolores Umbridge! I have a mad hate on for her.
I don't really have one because no matter how bad a villain is, I like the bad guys. So.
But she's not even a likable bad guy.
Yes, she is. She loves cats.
We agree to disagree on this.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So the next one is Powder. Favorite last book in the series. Mine is the 7th Harry Potter book. Normally, I am someone who will nitpick at the end of a series and I'll be like, they could have changed this and had this character end up like with this person or something. Nope. Harry Potter wouldn't change a freaking thing. Everything about it was perfect. Not my favorite book in the series, but definitely probably the only series ending book that I can say wouldn't change it. Love it.
Mine would have to be Lord of the Rings Return of the King. I think the ending is really good. I like how they tie up all the character storylines and everything ends.
Yeah. Also, he's got this really cool Lord of the Rings box set that we found at Half Price Books for like $10. We're gonna get like a newer version too, but it's got like the map of the world of Middle Earth. That's pretty neat. I like it. I would blow this up and like scan it in the printer, blow it up, and make it into like an actual wall hanging.
I would.
Yeah. This setting powder, a book you think everyone should read.
My book for this would be Kings of the Wyld by Nicholas Eames. I don't own a physical copy, but I will be getting one because the book is so good. It was the book that got me back into reading, and it is very lighthearted and very fun.
Yeah, and also, I just want to interject that, like, this is Theo. He's our big cat, and he's, like, walking around.
He's our big baby.
Yeah, he's walking around this whole area of books. I actually am going to put a picture up on Instagram of him. He likes to lay on books, and if we stack them in towers like we have now, he'll knock them over. So, that's Theo. So, my book is Fever by Mary Beth Keane. And this is a fictional book about Typhoid Mary, and it follows Mary Mulligan around before, after, and during her imprisonment for basically like spreading the disease around. And I found it really interesting because everybody paints Typhoid Mary. Well, I mean, they call her Typhoid Mary. Everybody paints Mary as like this evil woman who
she is.
Did it on purpose.
She killed all those people.
Listen.
She killed all those people, Catherine.
They paint her as this villain, and in this book, the author takes a really interesting turn and kind of shows the struggle of her being an Irish immigrant, and basically cooking is the only thing she's loved, and it's heart-wrenching, and I think everybody should read this book from the point of view of a well-known villain in history as maybe being just a sympathetic
How do you know she did? How do you?
I was a little messed up. I might have had to edit out a bit of our bookish discussions because we sometimes don't make sense, and then we have to like clarify 5 times. But yes, that is why I feel like you guys should read Fever, a novel. So the next one is Eyeshadow, and this is a book with your favorite colors on it. And I'm going to do mine first because Cody is fixing a stack that our cat knocked down. Anyway, I generally love the color purple or blue or green, but this cover of Wool by Hugh Howley, or Howie, I love the reds and the blacks and the oranges and the yellows kind of all like mixed together. So out of a physical book, like on my bookshelf, this is like my favorite color combination. So that's mine.
Mine isn't the true color of the book, but I still really like the binding and the colors on it. It's the Half-Blood Prince without the dust jacket. I like the writing on the I like the writing on the spine. I like the front. I like the inside, the greens. I like all of it.
Yeah, that's actually a really pretty, like, all of J.K. Rowling's books, Dust Jacket and No Dust Jacket, have really awesome colors.
Except for The Prisoner of Azkaban. But that's another video, and I might do that one with her.
We probably will. I'll probably, like, we'll probably make a video of books we despise, because he actually has a book he despises in the Harry Potter series. Yeah, and we don't agree.
It's terrible.
The next one is eyeliner, and that is dark and mysterious.
My pick is Scourge by Gail Z. Martin. It's about a trio of brothers that are necromancers, and what they do is they help people cross over into the dead and move on.
Okay, and at first I had chosen a really, really, like, horrifying, scary book for this, but then I realized it needed to be, like, dark and disturbing, and the book I want to read, the book I wanted to recommend, is probably one of my favorite just true horror books, so I'll have to, like, recommend that at another time. But the dark and disturbing book I've read that has stuck in my mind most recently has been And the Trees Crept In by Kurtagich. I've reviewed this, talked about this, I gave it 2 stars. It was dark, it was disturbing, it was predictable, but, I mean, it fits dark and disturbing, so, yeah. Okay. Next one is Mascara, and this is a long book you have read, or in my case, are in the process of reading.
My long book would be Under the Dome by Stephen King.
And I'll insert the page count right there for both of our long books because we don't have them in physical copies and just can't remember.
I had read the physical copy when I was in college, but I ended up getting rid of it after I read it because back then I don't collect books like I do now.
That was the worst mistake of our lives. We should have a time machine, like a TARDIS, to, like, go back. Yeah. And since we can't cross, like, our own timelines, I'll tell you and you tell me, don't get rid of our books. Yeah. Because we'll be book collectors one day. And mine is actually another Stephen King book. I feel like everybody who's like, what's the longest book you read?
It's a Stephen King novel.
Yeah.
Unless it's like, I'm trying to think of a really long one.
I mean, like, A Tale of Two Cities is pretty long. If it's, like, modern, I feel like it's Stephen King.
Yeah, probably.
And so mine is It by Stephen King. I watched the original movie with my mom, like, when it first came out. It always was on the Sci-Fi Channel. That was, like, our show to watch, but I never read the book just because I have a problem getting into Stephen King's writings. So I'm listening to this one on audiobook, and I adore the man who who narrates it, and I will actually leave that exact audiobook version linked in the description below because I feel like the narrator of an audiobook makes or breaks
the audiobook.
Yeah. The next one is a cringe-worthy romance, which is Blush. My cringe-worthy romance, I normally forget about cringe-worthy romances. Like, I'm not even kidding. If it's a cringe-worthy romance, it's also probably a book I just DNF'd or hated, so I didn't even, like, keep it long enough to remember its name. But actually, this book, The Cringe-Worthy Romance, An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. Yeah. So yeah, the cringeworthy romance in this book is every single romance. I mean, like, the main character looks at the girl, she's a slave, he thinks, ooh, I like that slave, and his best friend, who's a girl, is like in love with him, and the whole time he's thinking, maybe I should kiss her, but I don't want to ruin our romance, and ooh, okay. Point is, I loved this book, but all of these romances were just like, stop it! So I cringed, and I think I even, like, told Cody at times, I was like, this is just like the dumbest, stupidest romance.
She did.
So, love the book, don't get me wrong. Hate every romance in it.
And I don't have one for this category.
Recently read a book, The Long Way Down to a Small Angry Planet.
And that had a couple different romances in it. And that's the first book in a long time that's had multiple romance lines that I've actually liked.
Yeah, and we can leave that book linked down below if you guys are like Cody and you read science fiction, but you don't necessarily like romances. This was something he could like deal with and actually get down with. Good. So I feel like it would be a book that's like reasonable for other people to read that has slight romance in it. So the highlighter is a book that brightens your day.
Mine would be Kings of the Wyld again. It's a very lighthearted high fantasy novel. It's only like 300 pages, so you could get through it. It's very lighthearted and very fun.
Alright, so the book that brightens my day, he made me choose. I was going to say...
Yeah, you can't not choose a book.
I was going to say every book! Is Charlie Bone by Jenny... I think it's Nimmo. Yeah, Nimmo. It's like Charlie Bone by Jenny Nimmo. I don't know. Something like that. It is a middle grade series that I read a while ago, and yes, some people will say it's like Harry Potter-esque. I mean, what middle grade book that has magic that came out after Harry Potter is not like Harry Potter-esque? Yeah. So, I don't know. When I think about reading it, I read it like 3 times. Never finished the series. I definitely want to get it and finish the series. But every time I think about it, his dog, or him, his best friend, and his best friend's dog, just, I don't know. It gives me the warm tinglies. So I feel like if I had it in front of me right now and read it, I would just have like the craziest smile plastered on my face. Okay, so we have one book left, or, one question left, and that is your lipstick. So this is your favorite kiss in a book.
Here's a spoiler. I don't have one.
Here's a spoiler. I'm gonna make him choose since he made me choose one to brighten my day. So, favorite kiss in my book, or in a book. There have been so many, so I'm picking from like most recent I've read. So mine is Sarah J. Maas, A Court of Mist and Fury, Feyre, and Reese. Like, come on. I know, a ton of people don't like her. I'm one of the people who do, so. And this romance, like, so, yeah. That's my favorite kiss right now, so. So after long deliberation, he's decided he just cannot decide on a favorite kiss because kisses gross him out. Ew. Boogies. Cooties. Boogies. I don't know why I said boogies.
Why did you say boogies? You don't swap boogies when you kiss.
I don't know these things. I'm 5.
Yes, she is. She's like
Hush.
a 5-year-old.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I had fun filming this. I normally film alone.
Yeah.
So, please like this video.
And subscribe.
Yes. And if you want to see more book tags with Cody in them, please let us know. And also, we have a vlog up right now where we are
treasure hunting.
AKA, we go to a bunch of Goodwills and a thrift store, and we come out with some pretty dang awesome books. So we will see you later, and until then, bye.